let me introduce to you eNeG and what we are doing, but just in a small manner. We have 3 pillars where our business model is based on. This is the energy supply systems. When I'm talking here about energy, it's meaning heat, steam, hot water for district heating or for the industry. The second part is building automation. And building automation is the reason why I'm standing here today. And the third is the technical service for everything we do in the other 2 pillars. And what we do is basically we serve the entire life cycle of the systems we provide. And a couple of words about eNeG and COPA-DATA, because you could say we are good old friends since we are working together for more than 25 years. And when I started to prepare the speech, I was thinking about, well, what was it initially that we choose COPA-DATA as our partner? And if it's and to see if it's hold true today. It's a little spoiler alert, yes, it does. And some of the reasons you see above there, but I think today the main reason and the most important part is the partnership between us, which is reflected, for example, in our regular dual fixes, so we can benefit from the input from both sides. And with this, I would end the commercial break. I would talk about the challenges in building automation, and when we are talking about challenges, we can also say what are the drivers in building automation. This is just a small list I came up with. There are certainly a lot more, but in my opinion, these are the most important. And in view of the time, I only will talk in a little bit more detail about the ones written in bold, and the others I will just skip, and we can discuss in the break afterwards. But before we start, when we talk about efficiency and energy savings in the building automation industry, I would like to at least mention the first point, and this is the energy performance of buildings directive, because it sets high standards in the building automation, at least in Europe, and is, well, one of the big drivers today. But I just wanted to mention it because it's really important for industry, but we can as well discuss afterwards if you like. So due to the increasing digitalization and the remote access options we also face in building automations, buildings are becoming more and more interesting targets for cyber attacks. And let's be honest, I know, and I'm sure you as well, know more than one building and one more system operating still on Windows 7, which is kind of okay-ish, if you like, if you operate the whole system as a very closed island. But if you don't, it's just well, terrible. And more and more cases, you don't operate the system as islands. So even in the industry where the customers, well, I know customers who try almost everything to keep their own IT department out of the project just because they are always so complicated. This holds true in the building automation even more because the theme of security is much more neglected in the past, and we just start to put more effort into the security systems. So, well, it's a big challenge, but now what? Of course, there are the classic recommendations like use network segmentations, look VPNs or patching strategies, and furthermore. But I think you should start at the beginning on a much higher meta level, because often the building automation isn't part of the overall security strategy, and that's where you should start. put it into the strategy, and then the IT department needs to be seen as an enabler for a sustainable, a solid building automation system, and not as an obstacle like it's seen today a lot of times. And what can you do is just bring them together. At least they are all people. And when they talk together and they start to collaborate, then a lot of your challenges become more natural to overcome. Now, let's focus on the IT aspect on building automation a little bit more. Because building automation generates not a huge, like in the industry, but a lot of data. And there's often no strategy at all how to use the data or how to collect the data. So this is a big part. We heard in the speeches before that data is crucial for the future, for AI integration and so on. And in building automation, often, even if there is a strategy or a fundamental strategy, there's just no capacity or something like this to consistently implement the system or the strategy. And so far, there's a big lack. Again, what do we do? First of all, I think it's very, very important to understand that having data is much more important than, at least currently, needing them. It's not important that you don't know for what you need the data. You need to understand that having the data is key, and the more the better. But you should also define which data you like to use. And this is because often you don't only need the data which coming from the building automation systems itself, but from other systems which are very near to the building automation, like facility management systems or something like this. And you should think about which data can I use as well out of these systems. So in order to enable clear assignments of data, we also need uniform labeling systems. When you have a lot of data, and in building automation we have, and we don't have usually a unified labeling system, it becomes very hard. I don't know if you had this problem, but when you talk about the flow temperature before the heat exchanger on the left side, well, or what on the right side, or what is before the heat exchanger, I don't know. It starts to get complicated. You need a uniform labeling system to address the data. And we heard this yesterday as well, you need a timestamp which is accurately over the whole system so you know that the data occur to the same times. And for later, we also need a structured database. And once we have achieved this, we can think about how to use the data. What will we do with the data? And my recommendation would be just start launching pilot projects, like generate automated key performance indicators or create dashboards for a clear overview. And also, again, start with AI. What can I do with the AI? How can AI help me in the process? And there's a lot of potential in the data. The last challenge where I want to go into detail is the complexity and user acceptance. In my mind, this is one of the most important aspects in building automation, because I know a lot of systems where we have a very, very good system, mostly from Xenon, and nobody uses it. It's standing there, and once or twice a year we come and we use it to help the customer, but the customer itself doesn't use it. So I think to reduce complexity and increase user acceptance is crucial, because highly automated buildings often seem very incomprehensible to users, like the light does what it wants. But for good usability, it is crucial to acceptance and therefore for the efficiency, because without training, without the acceptance, most of the system will be used manually, and when they are used manually, you don't get the forehoped savings. And now, the first point I should have written in bold because it's very, very important. Design matters. The user interface needs to be simple, it needs to be clear, and it needs to be mobile accessible. And my top tip is have the visualization shown to you before commissioning. It should be a big part in selecting your suppliers. And the mantra is keep it simple. And don't misunderstand keep it simple with the lack of information or reduce functionality. Keep it simple means you need to put effort and thought into the visualization to make it look simple, to make it look user-friendly, so they actually use it. And last but not least, again, AI integration can help in the future to overcome some of the, well, perceived complexity. And now, previously I talked about clear and simple overviews, and the Steigenberger Hotel is a well-known luxury hotel in Hamburg, and I want to address it as an example how we challenged some of the before mentioned points. This, for example, is a network overview of the whole hotel with all room controllers. Every room has its own controller, and we see of one glance everything regarding the system. We even see if the system is the room is occupied because we are connected to the booking system, so we can automate our air conditioning and so on to address whether it's occupied or it's booked or not. And I think these two floor plans clearly demonstrate how a reduced picture can help to see more information. So on the left side, we see a reduced view, details are hidden. Nevertheless, you see all the status of all fire dampers. And furthermore, one can see at a glance whether a room is occupied or not, or is a room at fault. And on the right side, there's an example with details shown. And on the first side, it looks like you see a lot more information. But actually, you only see information about the fire dampers, which is fine if you are just specifically interested in the fire dampers, but even only then. So with a cleaner look, like you see, I have a better overview, at the same time access to more information. This last example are two rooms with different statuses. The one room is booked, the other isn't. And the room air conditioning depends on the status from the booking system, because occupied rooms are differently heated and ventilated than empty rooms, but even booked rooms are differently air conditioned. And therefore, we have different presettings like eco mode or comfort mode, depending on which status the building is, or the room is. And when the room is booked, but it's not occupied, we can use the windows, depending on the air quality outside, to optimize efficiently the air quality inside the room without needing to use the ventilation system, and therefore saving energy. Well, at the beginning I mentioned that we are also working not only in building automation, but in the district heating sector. And a couple of years ago we started a research project with some partners, which was called Smart Heat Grid Hamburg, where we analyzed and optimized heating district systems for the future. But there was a line sub-project called Smart Pro Heat. And together with Smart Pro Heat, we analyzed how building automation and the overall system for the district heating system can interact together to optimize the overall system. So when you can interact from side of the district heating system into the building, you get more and more information, you get more and more possibilities to efficiency control the whole system, because you don't need to follow, just like in the future, the consumption so you can control the district heating system pre-hand. And so the integration of building automation on a higher level from energy system is the further step into the efficiency improvements. And to pick up the title of the session, Sustainability Sonata, these are my last words. Building automation is the invisible orchestra that harmonize efficiency, sustainability, and economy.